Hey everyone, Ben Benson here, Performance Capability. Hope you're doing well. So let me ask you some hard questions. Have you ever worked for a company or maybe been in a relationship where it all looked perfect on the surface, but deep down inside, you knew it couldn't last? Have you ever chased results or maybe applause or recognition only to realize you didn't have the foundation to sustain it? That's the trap of performance, literally without capability. And you know what? It's everywhere. It's in business, it's in sports, it's in our personal lives. Performance is shiny, it's seductive. It's the thing that gets rewarded in the moment. But you know what? Without capability, which is the real substance beneath the appearance, it's nothing more than a house of cards. So in today's message, I'm going to break down this crucial distinction, and we're not going to keep this theoretical. I'm going to take you inside one of the most shocking disasters in recent history, a story that literally captured the headlines across the world, a story that will show you exactly what happens when performance is engineered, capability is literally ignored. So stick with me till the end of this session, because you'll not only see why, that disaster was inevitable, but you'll see the areas in your own life where you might be in danger of the same mistake. And the other thing is, more importantly, I'll give you some tools to fix it. So this isn't about looking good. It's not about looking good today. This is about building something real, something lasting. So let's dive in. Let's run the intro.
Hold your breath, all the moves we're making.
All right, so what if the very thing that you've been chasing, performance, isn't actually what secures your future? What if what you really need is something very different and something else? Let me begin with a bigger picture, because if you don't understand this distinction at its root, the lesson's going to have little meaning. So let's start in the corporate world, and let me plant a seed right here. Later, I'm going to tell you about OceanGate, the company that made the headlines with bold promises and dazzling performance, but it ended in disaster. I'm sure many of you have seen it. Keep that in mind, because it's the clearest example of what happens when appearance gets ahead of substance. See, most companies are obsessed with performance. They want the numbers. They want the quarterly report to shine, the stock price to spike, the presentation to impress. They push their teams for output, for results, for short-term wins, and they measure everything literally through that lens. How did we perform this week? How did we perform this month? How did we perform this quarter? But here's the paradox. While companies want performance, what they need is capability. Because without building capability, systems, culture, resilience, talent development, the performance is literally a sugar high. It spikes, it looks good on paper, but it isn't sustainable. The moment the market shifts, the moment a crisis hits, performance without capability collapses. See, think about it for a minute. A company that squeezes employees for performance without investing in their growth burns them out. A company that chases flashy projects without a solid infrastructure eventually cracks. The marketplace doesn't reward short-term performance. It rewards those who build capability to endure and adapt over the long haul. And this isn't just true for corporations, it's true for you. The smartest businesses understand that capability building is the safest investment that they can ever make. Why? Because capability compounds. A culture of training, innovation, and resilience becomes a shield against disruption. When markets fail, capable companies adapt. When technology shifts, capable teams learn. Performance can win the quarter, but only capability wins the decade. So let me ask you, how often have you measured yourself by how you look in the moment rather than what you can sustain over time? How often have you pushed to perform without truly building capability, underneath the surface of what you're trying to create? We live in a world obsessed with performance. The quarterly earnings report, the social media highlight reel, you know, the instant before and after photo. But capability is quieter. It doesn't scream. It doesn't trend. Capability is what you've built brick by brick, the depth, the systems, the mastery that allows you not only to shine today, but to keep advancing tomorrow, to keep adapting as the world changes, and to keep growing long after the applause has faded. See, the broader understanding here is a critical distinction. Performance is visible. You can see it, measure it, celebrate it. Capability, on the whole, is invisible. It lives beneath the surface, quietly powering every visible result. Performance is the race day, the moment in the spotlight, the cheers, the medals. Capability, on the other hand, is the months of early mornings, the sweat, the repetition, the discipline in training that nobody sees. Performance is reputation, the story others tell about you. Capability is character, the truth of who you are, and when no one is watching, the integrity and the depth that sustains you when the applause fades. See, performance is about speed, the quick burst, the sprint, the rush to results. Capability is about endurance. It's the steady rhythm, the stamina, the ability to keep moving forward after the sprinters have burnt out. Performance can impress for a moment. The applause, the spotlight, the thrill of recognition. Capability sustains over a lifetime. The quiet strength, the consistency, the power to endure long after the applause fades. Think of it like a house. Performance is the paint job. It's the curb appeal. You know, capability is the foundation. It's the steel beams. And which matters more when storms come? Or think of an athlete. Performance is the medal ceremony. Capability is the hours of training, the recovery, the protocols, the mindset work. Without capability, performance always collapses under pressure. This is not just philosophy, it's practical. See, think of an athlete. Performance is the medal ceremony. Capability is the hours of training, recovery protocols, the mindset work. Without capability, performance always collapses under pressure. This is not just philosophy, it's practical. Because every area of your life demands both, but in the right sequence. Capability must always precede performance. If you chase performance first, you eventually burn out. You break down, or you might even implode. Now let's look at a moment in history that illustrates this principle with chilling clarity. Before we dive into the principles, let's name the company, OceanGate. This bold company burst into the global stage and dominated headlines. Billionaires signed up, cameras followed every daring mission, and to the outside world it seemed like performance at its very peak. Innovation, adventure, audacity, and the thrill of possibility. But beneath that glittering surface, something essential was missing. This was the ambitious venture that set out to take private citizens down to the Titanic wreck, but beneath the sheen of innovation, something fundamental was missing: capability. Beneath the spectacle, capability was nowhere to be found. The engineering discipline was absent. The redundancies of safety had been stripped away. The humility to respect the unforgiving realities of nature were literally ignored. The appearance was polished and loud, but the substance was hollow and brittle. And when performance outpaces capability, collapse isn't a distinct possibility, it becomes an inevitable countdown. Collapse is not a distant possibility, it's a certainty. Waiting for its moment, the only certainty is how soon the cracks will appear and how loud the implosion will be. Words that revealed the bias of the CEO at the center of this story revealed his philosophy with bold statements. At some point, safety just is pure waste. If you want to be safe, don't get out of bed in the morning. Don't get out of bed in the morning, he said. And then, I've broken some rules to make this. I think we've broken them with good logic and good engineering behind me. These were not casual remarks. These were the compass, literally, by which decisions were made. They were the hardened principles that dismissed warnings, silenced experts, and charted a course towards disaster. Elevating performance without sidelining capability didn't invite risk. It sealed the path to a tragedy with the closing of that airtight hatch. So let's bring this home. In your career, are you chasing promotions and applause without building mastery? Maybe grabbing titles and recognition without the depth, the skill, the wisdom, the resilience that makes those wins last in the long term. What about your health? In your health, are you chasing quick transformations, crash diets, extreme workouts, overnight fixes without cultivating the daily sustainable habits that actually create lasting vitality and ultimate strength? In your relationships, are you putting on the performance of connection, maybe smiles, gestures, and social appearances without cultivating the true capability of resilience, honesty, and depth that allow love and trust to endure through rough seas? Here's the truth. Performance is appearance. Capability is substance. And life will always test the difference. The principle to live by with performance and capability is a promise waiting to break. Capability fuels performance, not the other way around. This is an axiom to tattoo literally onto your mind. So let me give you some points, some things to do, a few calls to action, if you will, that can help you really cement this. Number one, audit your world. Identify where you're leaving performance without backing it with capability. Be brutally honest with yourself. Ask, where am I painting over the cracks instead of repairing the foundation? Where am I focused on looking good rather than being good? This audit is the flashlight that reveals the gaps between appearance and substance. Number two, invest in depth. Build systems, discipline, and mastery. Capability is created in the dark, away from the applause. This means doing the unseen work, the repetitions, the practice that no one claps for. It's the discipline of learning the structure that supports growth, and the mastery that comes only after countless hours of effort with no spotlight or shine. Investing in depth is how you become unshakable when the moment of performance inevitably arrives. Number three, shift from flash to foundation. Don't chase applause, build resilience. Don't sprint for the quick win, build the marathon engine. The shine of the spotlight fades fast, but the strength of a solid foundation will always endure. Trade the temporary flash of recognition for the permanent power of reliability. Build in such a way that your structure stands tall. Number four, play the long game. Anyone can impress once. Leaders, champions, legends sustain. Playing the long game means resisting the temptation of instant gratification and choosing to build momentum brick by brick. It's about creating results that not only last but compound, so that each victory sets the stage for the next. True greatness is measured not by a single win, but by the ability to keep showing up year after year, storm after storm. And the final charge. This tragedy simply wasn't about exploring too far. It was confusing appearance with substance, performance literally with capability. And here's where the story of OceanGate disaster sharpens the lesson. OceanGate engineered performance, the sleek design, the bold headlines, the daring missions. It looked like progress. It looked like innovation. It looked like victory. But performance, when not grounded in true capability, becomes literally a ticking time bomb. The result was inevitable failure. The absence of rigorous engineering or redundancy of humility in the face of nature's power meant that performance was an illusion waiting to implode. This is the fate of anything built on appearance without substance. So don't make the same mistake in your own life, in your own business, in your relationships. Anchor yourself first in capability, because when the pressure increases at depth, performance will implode without it. Remember, if you don't invest in capability, your performance is always going to be a mirage, waiting to vanish and to dissolve. And let's be clear, both performance and capability are required. You can't live a life of significance without showing up, delivering, and performing when it matters. But performance without capability is fragile, and capability without performance is wasted potential. One must precede the other. Capability first and performance second. That strength and substance is what matters. Remember, capability is the root, performance is the fruit. Nurture the root and the fruit will not only appear, it will flourish. This is not a 3-minute lesson. This is a life practice. I want you to take 20-25 minutes with me today and sit down on this, write down, audit your world. Ask the hard questions and commit not to looking good today, but to becoming unshakably capable for tomorrow. Ben Benson, Performance Capability. I'll see you in the next message.
Hold your breath, all the moves we're making. I'm scared to death.